waking up between you and Mama every Saturday morning. Lord, it must be a big old bed. You are listening to Rick's House.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, and let me tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690. 865-599-1690.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. And let me tell you about my friends at Knox Trail Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Popper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxtrailSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
To build a strong house, you gotta start with a solid foundation. This is Rick's House, the home improvement show.
Permachink Systems, protecting wood for a long, long time. Not only protecting it, but beautifying it, helping it when it's decayed, working with log home people, and also working with homeowners. They have a store on Prosser Road in Knoxville at 1605 Prosser Road at 800-548-3554, or a store in Sevierville, 1357 Dolly Parton Parkway, 865-774-3307. 865-774-3307. Let me tell you what you're going to learn when you get there. Things I didn't know about. How about the Woodsman line of smooth log caulk? The other day I was looking for something that matched wood trim. I only had two choices. Not with Permachink. Pine, honey, tan, cedar tone, brown, and gray. E-wood, epoxy wood putty. Putty that really works. Putty that will harden and become just like the wood itself, maybe even better. If you're missing sections of your windowsills or frames or furniture or any wood structure, this is the product for you. But maybe it's something smaller. How about epoxy wood paste? Contact PCS today. Call Permachink Systems today. Toll free 800-548-3554 or at the Sevierville store, 865-774-3307, and find out how to make wood better. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777, 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mention that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off slots.
And how much is that,
That's
brother?
a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you, they want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House.
Whether you're living in a brand new home or swimming in a money pit, we've got your home improvement answers. It's Rick's House, the home improvement show.
Oh, well, it's Rick's House. If you got a question, he'll help you figure it out. 'Cause it's Rick's House.
There we go. It all starts with the music. Good Saturday morning to you. Welcome to Rick's House. Thanks for joining us on the program. It's gonna be a dandy. I done had a big old cup of coffee, and I'm working on coffee number 2. Go Vols! War Eagle. Roll Tide. I only said that for my buddy Jay Gray. That'd be the only time you ever hear me say it on the radio. Only time. It never happened again. It ain't gonna happen again. We got lots to talk about today. It is nice and cool and fabulous here in the southwest part of Texas. Got a little bit different setup today. I need to move that down so y'all don't. Let me see if I can get that adjusted. There we go. Here we go. There we go. Here we go. Here. There we go. Yep, 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 yep. All right. And put it right in front of your face, Ricky. Here, let's do this. I'm going to fool around and bust it. Okay. I think that's better. No, I got a new setup here. I've got an office chair that rolls. Y'all know that. Y'all see me in it. And it's a tall one. And somebody set it out to just get rid of it. And it's about a $150 chair. And ain't a thing wrong with it. Not nothing. And so I asked him, I picked it up and brought it to the office, to the bunker as it is. And so, but the thing about it is Ron Jones, go Vols, baby. Good morning. How about him going to the Elite Eight? That's what I'm talking about. Good to see you, Brother Ron. But so I got this chair, and with my mobility issues and my neuropathy and all this crap that I have, now I'm almost 60, getting there. When I sit in that for a long period of time, it hurts me. I ain't gonna lie to you. So one of the things is I told Amy this morning, I said, I think I could move my recliner, because it's an old people recliner, Shoot, I got look at that technology there. I got a remote. I can run that thing up a little bit. There we go. Run it down a little bit, run it back up a little bit. But anyway, I thought, and I told her, I said, if I could get that over there, and if I can reach it and everything will set up right, I think that I would be a whole lot more comfortable, so that I can, because after about an hour of the show, I start hurting, and that's no good. And last week, I apologize. Last week I I don't know what, we picked up a little bug of some kind, and I'll tell you what, I just didn't feel good at all. So I cut it about a half hour short. So we'll go longer today. We'll just see how it goes. And y'all are busy and got things to talk about and join in while we're excited about that. So we're going to do that this morning. Looks like it's going to be nice and breezy up in Tennessee this morning. Getting ready for the Vols to I don't know who they play. I'm gonna have to look that up. But I know it's tomorrow night or tomorrow day or tomorrow sometime that they play again. I really like Coach Barnes. I don't know him personally. I've been fortunate to know a lot of the coaches and a lot of the old timers when I was at WNOX back in the day, and then it was WOKI. But I was fortunate to be around some of those guys and some of those that I really respected. And I got to know them, but I've not been around Coach Barnes or any of those newer ones because I haven't been over there in a long time. But I like Coach Barnes. I like the way he carries himself and how he does things just from an observation from the outside. We got some folks that's got some leadership skills that come out of East Tennessee. So we got that going on today. I'm going to pull up let me go ahead and respond to that.
Good gracious. I got phones on top of computers, on top of phones, on I got stuff everywhere. Let me get my Gmail up so I can get to my show notes. I got projects coming out my ears today. It's going to be a busy day today here. Now we've had high winds, and there is Amy, did you say there's a fire alert? We got a fire alert because it's dry and it's windy. It's always windy in the desert, which is not a bad thing because honestly, it is a. They play today at 2:15. I thought they played Sunday, 2:15 Eastern time. Who do they play? Can you see? Let me see. Thank you. University of Tennessee men's basketball team is the number 6 seed. They advanced to the Elite Eight after defeating Iowa State 76-62 on March 27th, and they will. That was yesterday.
Oh no, is that today?
They play number 1 seed Michigan in the Elite Eight on Saturday, March 29th, 2026 at 2:15 on Eastern time on CBS. The game determines a spot in the Final Four. Let's go, Vols. Let's go. Good job. Thank you, huh? So we're going to be pulling for them. I got a text last night from my buddy Philip out in Oregon, who's a good guy. Thank the world to Philip, and hadn't heard from him in a while. And you know how it is when he's a massage therapist, but he's also a works in a chiropractor's office, and he's all about health and everything. And he is he's a health guy, and he's a big, tall fella. And we met him when we were out at Alvord Hot Springs, and I just think the world of him. And matter of fact, we celebrated, along with some of the other folks, we celebrated Thanksgiving dinner together. And I hadn't heard from him in a while. And of course, we've been traveling and stuff. And he sent me a thing last night and said, "Hey, pulling for the Vols." I said, "Good deal." And so we got to talking, and he's had a heck of a year. He's had rotator cuff surgery and just had ablation and had a meniscus repaired and had a total knee replacement. And he said, "I'm about done with this heart ablation." He said about another 24 hours to 48 hours. And he said, "I'll be road ready." I said, "You got a complete tune-up." And Amy and I were talking. That's just stuff when you start getting our age. I mean, it's just stuff you got to deal with. And I don't like it. And I know most folks don't like it, but it's just the nature of the beast. I mean, you got to start dealing with these things. And some of them come from age, and some of them come from just, the amount of time we've lived on this earth. It would be age, of course. And just as your body ages, you have to grow toward those things. And so we had a great Bible verse this morning, Amy read, that said, "Don't worry about tomorrow. Today's got enough to worry about." But it didn't basically, we all know we're not supposed to worry. But one of my projects today that I'm going to talk about is we put, you leaving? Okay. One of the things that we talk about, and we've got a curtains, we have these blackout curtains. And I don't know if y'all can, you can see them behind me, all the way behind me on the other window. And the blackout curtains are designed to hold, they do a couple things. They're insulated, so they block out sunlight. We've got in some of the windows, we've got styrofoam, and some of them we don't. They block out the sun. They hold the cool in. They hold the heat in when we're doing that. We got down to 42 last night, so we had to have a little heat because I'm old and I get cold. But anyway, we've had that going on. And so one of the things on these RV doors, our animals had tore the screen out of the bottom of our screen door, and they had broke the hinge on the bottom side of it. Well, I ordered, you'll find that most of your RV parts, let me show you, are in several RVs, most of their components are made by Lippert, Lippert. And so this is the friction hinge that comes and holds your door together. It holds your door on there and holds your storm door on there, or your screen door on there. And it's a pretty heavy duty thing. Let me show you here. It's a pretty heavy duty hinge. It's kind of funky looking. So I've got to replace this today. But when I took that screen door off, one of the things that I found is the RV door is just not sealed. I mean, it's got 1/2-inch cracks around it, and everything in an RV is curved. The windows are curved, the doors are curved, and I guess that's for some kind of aerodynamic stuff. But it drives me crazy. You know, if you're going to build it a little closer than that. That's my opinion. Now, I'm going to say this because I didn't have time to look it up. But what a lot of folks do is we hang curtains over our doors. So we've got a curtain rod up on top of the door, and we've got a curtain on there, an insulated curtain. But the problem is they come in certain lengths, and it's not long enough to go all the way to the floor. But it does a pretty good job keeping that heat out, because RV doors are notorious for not being that well insulated, unless you know, the more expensive the coach, you know, the more doolollies you have, and the more, sorry, allergies bother me, and the more, you know, the more insulation value you have, but it's not going to be great. And so I was trying to we had added a blanket behind the insulated curtain, so that we could keep that heat out, because it was 100 degrees here. Now everybody says, "Oh Lord, how do you take that heat?" I was talking to an insurance person in Georgia, and they were like, I said, "Boy, I bet it's hot there today." "Well, it's not too bad." I said, "What's your humidity?" He said 100%. I said, "Oh yeah, it's bad." Our humidity was 9%, which is good for my neuropathy. So anyway, but we were talking about that, and so I was trying to get out, and I was carrying some stuff to the door and setting it down, and you know, it's just trying to scoot. Actually, I was scooting it on the floor because I can't walk and carry stuff anymore. It takes all of me to keep all of me moving in the right direction. But anyway, so I got tangled up in that curtain, and we just had a little a valance rod, Amy, is that what they're called? A valance rod, and I bent that thing, and it's been up like a doggone. It's just old pot metal anyway, I call it. And I bent that thing, and so Mama said, "Well, that's good. I'll get me a new curtain rod to go on there." So I'm gonna replace that today. So all that being said, she went and bought a curtain. Where'd you get the curtain? Did you get it Family Dollar or Dollar General? Where'd you get it? She went to Dollar General, because, you know, if you've got the first thing you see when you come into any small town anywhere is that first Dollar General. We've got 3 here in our little old town of 6,000. And 2 of them are Dollar General store markets. Who needs a Walmart? It's an hour away. So anyway, so we got that going on. And so she bought, and this is neat, and I wanted to show this. So she got a decorative rod, and it's got the balls on the end of it, and it adjusts from 28 inches out to 48 inches. Now, used to, those were tension type, not that kind, but in a tension type rod, you know, you squeezed it and then it sprang back into thing. Well, those are expensive. I don't know why in the world they've got so expensive, but like a shower curtain rod, oh my good God Almighty, they want $30 for that thing. We used to get them for $5, $6, $7, $8, you know. So here's a sample, and this is what comes on the curtain, and it says, "Try me. I won't let light shine through." And so that's what the fabric looks like on that side, which is gray to match our others. And it's long enough so I can get it about 1/4 inch off the floor. And then on the back side, that's what it looks like. So that's really going to help us in the amount of heat, because we're facing the front of our trailer, which is the master bedroom, which doesn't have a window. It faces east. But the rear of our trailer faces west, and that's where our big windows are. So ideally, when you're going to the campground and you're wanting to locate your camper, if you're in a hot environment, ideally you want if you can put the part of your trailer
Our bedroom has a window.
on the side, but not on
Yeah.
the front.
Oh,
It
yeah.
has a window on the side and a door on the other side. But as far as the back where your head is for the bed, it doesn't have a window. Which in this room we have windows. I don't know if y'all can see. We have big windows. Now, you say, Rick, are you on fire? You look like you're on fire. Mayday, Mayday, Red Rider. No, we're not on fire. That's a humidifier that my bride got me. And oh my goodness, that has been the best, absolute best thing that we've ever done is get that humidifier, because it's, if you're if you're home in East Tennessee, you got to have a dehumidifier. But if you're in the desert, you got to have a humidifier. Percolated coffee is a fine thing. So anyway, so we're going to get that put up today. So ideally, if you're in a hot, this is something that you need to think about. If you're camping, when you select a lot or get to pick a lot, if your morning sun is not near as hot as your afternoon sun. I didn't realize that. Did you know that, Mama? Your morning sun, as the sun's coming up, is not near as hot on your camper as the evening sun. The evening sun, as it goes down, is hotter. And so the way our camper's situated, we get a lot of hot sun in the evening through this back window. So, and these other big windows that are 3 foot tall and 4 foot wide. So we get a lot of that. So we have to take extra precautions for that. But if our camper faced the other way, it would be cooler. But we'd have to go to an interior lot and we'd lose our view and the horse farm behind us and all that. So I'd rather have the view and we'll deal with the sun. So that's kind of what we do. So I looked this up and I know I'm not going to know how to say this. And I know you're going to be shocked and appalled because the word is spelled Portieres. Portieres is the way I'm going to say it. Boy, that sounded good, didn't it? Portier. The origin of the portier. Now, do you know what a portier is? And I'm probably just butchering it, but I don't care. Webster's dictionary says that a portier, it's a French word, which is the feminine version of the old French word portier, meaning porter or doorkeeper. It means doorkeeper. So if you put a curtain over your door to have with insulation, and this was very, very common back in the day when houses were built with wood doors and things that moved, and that's what you did. You put a curtain over it. That's called a portier. A portier or portier, I guess. Portier. You put that there porter over it, and that's a door blocker. That's what we're going to say. It started in 1638. People started putting curtains or blankets or burlap or whatever they had back then over their doors. So I'm going to put up the portier today. The door porter. So we don't feel like we're in a canned ham in here. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So that's what we got going on this morning. I appreciate all y'all joining us this morning. Thank y'all for being part of what we do each and every week. Michigan, 2:00, John says, thank you. Anna, good to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us on the program. Appreciate you being part of what we're doing here. Lots of stuff happening. That's the wrong one. Got my coffee going this morning. It's getting me going this morning. So we appreciate y'all being a part of that. Now, coming up on the program, we're going to talk about, have you ever pulled up and maybe you've got a diesel vehicle and a gas vehicle and accidentally put diesel gas in your gasoline car or truck? I'm going to talk about that. I always wondered, because I am not mechanical. You need the kitchen redone? I can help you. You going to build a house? I can help you. You gonna do something like that? I'm all about it. I can help you do that. But if you're going to need somebody that works on your car, you're not talking to Ricky, because Ricky don't know nothing about working on no cars. Don't want to know nothing about working on no cars. So it's not my thing. It's not what I do. And it's not, it's not what I'm good at. So that being said, it's just not our thing. But I'm going to tell you what happens, and I'm going to tell you why it happens, and I'm going to tell you what to do if it does happen. Because I seen a prank one time on Facebook, and the young lady was saying, she called her dad and said, well, I put the green handle in there because the green was for gas and for go. And she had him tore all to pieces, and she didn't do that, because it can cost you thousands of dollars if you make that mistake. So that can be a little bit on the trouble side. So you want to make sure that you don't do that. And if you do, we're going to make sure that we tell you what to do about it, and how to make sure that that's not a problem for you. So I'm trying to get over on the Facebook page this morning. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to do the most important thing that we do each and every Saturday morning. Lord have mercy. You tell I didn't get, I couldn't sleep for Jack last night. I don't know why. I just couldn't sleep. I wanted to sleep, but I couldn't sleep this morning. Or last night. And that's something I always do on the, on Friday nights before the show. It's just part of it. So we're going to take a short time out, let you hear from a couple of those folks. Not going to play all the commercials, but a couple of them. Then we're going to jump back into the conversation of what we're talking about RV living and about home construction and all those kinds of things today. That's what we're going to do. We're happy to be with you this morning. I hope it's fantastic where you are. You're listening to Rick's House. We'll be right back.
Whether you're living in a brand new home or swimming in a money pit, we've got your home improvement answers. It's Rick's House, the home improvement show.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777, 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mentioned that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that, brother?
That's a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you. They want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. Let me tell you about my friends at Knox Trail Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Piper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxtrailSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Don't let do-it-yourself become do-it-to-yourself. This is Rick's House, the home improvement show.
Saturday morning to you. Welcome into Rick's house. Thanks for joining us on the program. How you, Mama Nim? Go Vols, East Tennessee. Folks are excited about their Vols. Got my Vol hat on today. Thank y'all for joining us in what we do each and every Saturday morning. Now, we talk a little bit about hanging that curtain over the door, and you can do that in your house just as well as you can in an RV. But in an RV, it can make a huge difference on the idea is trying to keep it comfortable. And you got to know what you're working with, and that's something that we talk about a lot. But we also wanted to talk about, I always wonder, because I'm not mechanical, and I lean on my buddies that are, what happens if you put diesel fuel in a gasoline motor? And so there's a bunch of technical stuff about it, but here's the basic difference. The basic difference is in the refinement of the gasoline. So diesel fuel is not as refined as regular gasoline is. Regular gasoline engine works off a spark that ignites a flame. A diesel engine runs off compression. And so they're two different qualities. Now, if you realize that this, and I didn't know this either. So let's say you get up, there's a couple things. First off, if you accidentally grab the diesel green handle, which most of them are, but some people like BP have green handles on everything. So you got to be careful with that. Typically, a diesel gas pump handle, the nozzle is bigger than on a gasoline nozzle. So if you're having trouble, your first clue is if you're having trouble putting it in there, then there's a good chance you've grabbed the wrong one. A lot of people will catch it at that point. But if you put a little bit of diesel fuel in your car and you catch it, and here's the key. If you think you've put less than 5%, if you look and see how many gallons, you know how many gallons of gas, does your truck hold 28 gallons? Does your car hold 20? Does it hold 16? How many gallons of fuel does it hold? And then you tell how much you put in there. If it's 5% or less of the capacity of your fuel tank, you can put regular gas in there and it will, and fill it up, and it will, this blows my mind. The diesel will blend with the regular gasoline and it'll run. Now it's going to run a little bit rough until it does that. But you're okay to do that. And that's what the folks say at all these different places I looked up. Anything more than 5% could cause issues like misfiring and clogged fuel lines. So what happens is if it's more than 5%, it's going to gum up your Jim Sharp. Good morning, brother. Good to see you out there this morning. It's going to gum up your fuel lines. It's going to gum up your spark plugs, and you're starting to get into money. And if it makes it to the engine itself, to where the pistons and things are, then we're talking about thousands. So you definitely don't want to do that. But if you do put some in there, as long as it's less than 5% of what you put, you have gasoline in there, then you'll be okay. However, if you don't realize it and you start your car and it starts doing that, pull off. Don't continue to run it, because it'll eventually go a mile or two and then it's going to gum up and it's going to die. Pull off to a safe place and have it towed to a shop that can drain it. And they're probably going to have to change out your fuel lines, spark plugs, and all that. But that's a whole lot better than ruining an engine. And that's something that can happen. Now, in our house, we do a lot of olive oil. We are olive oil folks because of our diets. And we eat a lot of olive oil. And I dig olive oil. It's expensive, but it's good for you. We trying some other stuff, I need one for a high smoke point, grapeseed oil. I bought some of that the other day because it was on sale. I wanted to try it because and we're going to talk about this today, y'all. I learned how to make enchiladas Tex-Mex style. And I generally am not a Tex-Mex fan, but this is more traditional Mexican than it is Tex-Mex. And there's only a couple things that make it Tex-Mex, and that has to do with the cheese that you do. But Mama, did I make some enchiladas yesterday?
Yes.
They were, I ain't going to lie now. I'm telling you, they were delicious. And we're going to talk about that. And there's a couple secrets
that we're going to tell you. That ain't got nothing to do with home improvements that makes you happy. And if you're happy in your home is happy, it's good. So that's good stuff on that. Olive oil, professional cleaning folks. And, I'm always trying to look for alternative things. We're always trying to manage the black tank in the RV. Amy and I were talking about it this morning in the trailer. We're in a hot environment, and it's really not. I mean, it was 100 degrees and we were outside going, it don't feel like 100. It's a nice breeze, but it's that sun. It's a different level of sun in the desert than it is at home in East Tennessee. Plus you don't have humidity. Excuse me. And when you have AFib like I do, and neuropathy and the things that I have, then it makes it for a bad day. I can't breathe good, and I can't walk good, and I can't do anything good. So that's why we're in this environment. Well, that being said, we're always looking for alternatives. The heat from the sunlight bakes that black tank. And so we're always trying to put something in there. We're dumping it. We're keeping fluid in there. We're keeping water in there. We're trying to do all that kind of stuff. And there's a new product out I'm going to try. It's called Liquefied. And it's a guy that I watch sometimes on YouTube, whose name's Matt, and he's a RV salesman at a place in Florida, and it's his product. And they say it's fantastic. So we'll see, but that's a constant battle. And then Amy has a homemade remedy that she's come up with that does a phenomenal job. I don't know if she spits in it or what she does, but whatever she does, it works, don't it, Mama?
Wasn't really mine. I just read about it.
And she read about it, and then of course she added her spin on it. Kind of like when we was getting married. She says, "Is there anything you want me to learn how to cook?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "What's that?" I said, "I want you to make biscuits with my mama, if you will. And I want you to learn how to make your mama's cornbread and my mama's potato salad. And ain't Helen anything she cooked. Don't matter what it was. It was delicious. And I will have to say, my mama's going to roll over in her grave because she's going to be happy. But Amy makes best biscuits. Now my mama could make them. Had that flour drawer. Used lard. But Amy flat make them. And then her cornbread. Now her mama's cornbread was good. But her cornbread, you put some of that on top of your head, your tongue will beat your eyeballs out trying to get to it. That's how good it is. So we're always looking for things like that we can utilize that work well. Olive oil, I had no idea. And professional cleaning companies, there were 3 of them in this article that I read. Olive oil is great for polishing stainless steel. And I thought, really? You got stainless steel appliances? Boy, that's a tongue twister. Olive oil is great for polishing stainless steel. And you're thinking, really? But here's the key. It only takes a few drops. You get too much on there, it'll make it greasy. So the procedure is you wipe it down. And then after you wipe it down and get it, wipe it down and get it clean, then you take a rag and you put a few drops of it on it, and you go with the stainless steel grain, so to speak, for lack of a better term. And you do that. And then once you do that, then what you do is you wipe off the excess. And they said it will make stainless steel look like new money. And it's cheaper, even though olive oil is expensive, it's a lot cheaper than utilizing stainless steel polish. And that's why, the professional cleaning companies use it. So I thought that was a pretty interesting bit of something that you can use along the way. I remember that I had a painter one time, and when I was building houses, Amy and I were building houses, and one of the things that I was always asking him, and Brother Bob up in New Jersey, is painter and wallpaper man deluxe. And this guy, and I can't remember his name, but we worked a lot in 4th and Gill. And if you're in 4th and Gill back home in East Tennessee, in the historic district. If you're down in 4th and Gill, there are some of those houses, and I forget what kind of style this that has the square columns. I don't know if that's a federal or a colonial. I think it's a federal style. But anyway, and they would paint part of the stripes on the columns of color, and then paint the little dialed out places of color and all that. And he did a house down there, and he told me he used like a 200 tubes of caulk and wood put and all this, and it's fabulous. Last time I was by there, it still looked fabulous. But I had asked him about getting wallpaper off walls, because we were flipping houses for rental properties back then for ourselves. And one of the things you'd had to do was you had to come in and you had to get that wallpaper off. And his recommendation was, instead of buying the wallpaper stripper, his recommendation was to take a paper tiger, which is a tool that you use to score the paper, because you got to score it, because you got to get behind it to get the glue to release. And then he would mix about 2 tablespoons of Downy fabric softener in with a gallon of water and mix that up and spray and soak it. And I'm telling you what, it would peel that wallpaper off of there like new money. I never seen anything like it. It was crazy how well it worked and how good it worked for the removal of that wallpaper. Now, Bob was telling me a couple of weeks ago in the chat room, because he works in $20 million houses, and the wallpaper's a thing again. And he was sharing with me that wallpaper has gotten so expensive that it's, bye honey, be careful. Let me know that you made it safe. That's the stuff. Okay. See, that's a beauty of live podcasting. Mama just tells you what's your list for the day before she leaves to go do her thing this morning. You gonna play bingo over at the Sunshine House? We got a great senior citizen group down here. We're almost there. We don't go, but they've got a new thing I was going to tell you about, and I forgot what it was, but I'll remember. I'll remember what it is. It's what is it? Oh, well, it'll come to me. So anyway, okay, honey, I love you. So anyway, a little tip for you. You ever wonder why, and this is something else that I thought about. You ever wonder why paper, and this morning, Amy got me some paper to go on the, in the printer as I was printing out my show prep. And you ever wonder why paper's 8.5 by 11? I mean, why is that the standard? Who come up with 8.5 by 11? I mean, there's got to be a reason behind it, because that's the standard. 8.5 by 11.5 is your paper size. The answer goes back to the 1600s, when Dutch paper makers used wooden molds to form sheets of paper from big vats of watery pulp. Now, this is in the 1600s they were making paper. And they were taking pulp from the trees, mixing it with water, and they put in these vats. The molds had to be big enough for the vat man, not Batman, but vat man, V-A-T-M-A-N, the worker handling the frame, to lift and shake comfortably. Man, that's hard to say. Through trial and error, paper makers settled on molds roughly 44 inches long. The average span of a worker's outstretched arms. Now think about that. The average span of an outstretched arm was 44 inches. When the large sheet was quartered, the resulting pieces measured about 11 inches on their long side. So that's how they came up with that length. The origin of the width is less certain, but historians point to the mold's original 17-inch dimension. So they were 17 by 44. And when you half that produced the familiar 8.5-inch width. In other words, the size of the modern office memo may be the legacy of how far a 17th century worker could stretch their arms. I thought that was pretty interesting. I like fun facts like that. I think it's interesting to know how and why and why that happens and all that kind of good stuff. Now, we've got to take another time out to hear from some others of those folks that tell us the things that we need to know on Rick's House. And also, poor old Tiger Woods, I don't know. He's got to be the unluckiest rascal. I don't know what he's doing, but he didn't roll it. He throwed it over on its side, and he's in jail right now. So they're waiting to see. He didn't blow positive for alcohol, but they think he may have been under a little bit of some kind of, as they said on the TV interviews I was watching this morning, he may have been under some kind of drugs or prescription medication. And I imagine with all his surgeries and all of his stuff, and that's something else that the law enforcement officers said. They said, he explained to him when they gave him a field sobriety test. And I saw an article on a guy that has neuropathy like I do. And they administered to him, and he told them, I've got neuropathy. There is no way I can walk that line. I can't do those things. My balance won't allow it, and I can contest. I mean, I get it. And they ended up putting him in jail. And then, of course, it ended up being a big lawsuit. But, and the guy was telling me this morning that, not telling me, but was talking on the news this morning that, that Tiger had told him, look, I've got these certain things that I've had all these surgeries. So there's some of these tasks that I cannot do. And they said, well, that he took a breathalyzer test and he was triple zeros. He had not been drinking any alcohol. But then he refused a blood test or whatever that is. And I don't blame him. So anyway, I don't know what the legalities. They said he had the right to do that. I don't know what the legalities of that are, but I guess there's some kind of legalities to it that make it happen. All right, we're going to take a short time out to hear from a couple of the sponsors, and when we come back, we're going to jump into the conversation on some more home improvement. I'm going to try to reach back here and get the remote for the fireplace because, quite frankly, it's a little cool in here this morning. You can reach me at rickshouseradio@gmail.com, or you can comment in the chat room. We'd love to have you in there this morning. I hadn't set up for phone calls today. That's not seem to be a thing too often unless I have a guest. So we appreciate you this Saturday morning. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having an awesome day and hope things are going your way. We've got more conversation to talk about on the program, and we will be happy to do that with you. It's Rick's House. It's Saturday morning. Hang on, youngins. We'll be right back.
Don't let do-it-yourself become do-it-to-yourself. This is Rick's House, the home improvement show.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777, 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mentioned that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that?
That's a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open-top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you, they want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House. Permachink Systems, protecting wood for a long, long time. Not only protecting it, but beautifying it, helping it when it's decayed, working with log home people, and also working with homeowners. They have a store on Prosser Road in Knoxville at 1605 Prosser Road. That's 800-548-3554. Or a store in Sevierville, 1357 Dolly Parton Parkway, 865-774-3307. 865-774-3307. Let me tell you what you're going to learn when you get there. Things I didn't know about. How about the Woodsman line of smooth log caulk? The other day I was looking for something that matched wood trim. I only had two choices. Not with Permachink: pine, honey, tan, cedar tone, brown, and gray. E-wood, epoxy wood putty that really works. Putty that will harden and become just like the wood itself, maybe even better. If you're missing sections of your windowsills or frames or furniture or any wood structure, this is the product for you. But maybe it's something smaller. How about epoxy wood paste? Contact PCS today. Call Permachink Systems today. Toll free 800-548-3554 or at the Sevierville store, 865-774-3307, and find out how to make wood better. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, and let me tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690. 865-599-1690.
Waking up between you and mama every Saturday morning. Lord, it must be a big old bed. You're listening to Rick's House.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. And let me tell you about my friends at Knoxville Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Piper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxvilleSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Hey, y'all, this is Kix Brooks, and you are listening to Rick's House, everything you need to know about home improvement. Here comes Rick.
Oh, well, it's Rick's House. If you got a question, he'll help you figure it out. 'Cause it's Rick's House.
Good Saturday morning to you. Welcome back to Rick's House. Thanks for joining us on the program. How you, Mama Nim? Good to see you in the house this morning as we come to you live from Southwest Texas, where the high today is 70. It's craziness. It was 100 day before yesterday, and it was 92 yesterday and going to be 70. It was 42 last night and 70 this morning. Kind of like East Tennessee. Just stick around a while. If you want to see the weather change, it'll change on you. That's part of the program. One of the things I'm doing is, and we have in our countertops in the travel trailer are a thin piece, and you can see it right here, a thin piece of laminate, vinyl laminate. I don't know what you call it. It's very thin over top of MDF. And I don't know if there's such a thing that's heavier than MDF, but this is MDF. And it's really medium density fiberboard is what MDF is. And so we use that a lot with skirt boarding. You can see the shelf behind me. That's a piece of MDF skirt board that we've utilized over to give us some places for books and things like that. Because we're always, living in RVs, kind of like living in a submarine. You got to utilize every bit of space. I guess I should have been a Navy man because I'm learning. But the other side of that is that after a period of time, I mean, it's a 2021, it's 2026, and we purchased it new. But the deal is we're starting to see some wear and tear and things that are needing taken care of. And one of those things is where our sink is in our kitchen. I might be able to show y'all that. Where our sink is in our kitchen. Let me see if I can show that to you just for kicks and giggles. Let's see. Let's unplug this for just a moment. All right. Live podcasting. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not. No, I can't get it. I can't get it to turn that much, y'all. I'm sorry. So where our kitchen is, the laminate in there is needs some attention, and it's just from use. I mean, it's not made to use every day. And so because of that, it needs a little attention, and I get that. But the MDF board that's underneath it is in really, really great condition. It's in really good shape. And so Amy and I began to talk about what we could put on top of that MDF board. But obviously it needs to be waterproof, and it needs to be sealed, and it needs to be a lot of things that we need to do in order to utilize it. But Amy brought this question up, and she's right. She said, "Now, don't that need to be food grade?" And she's absolutely correct. It's just like granite countertops. When you do granite countertops, they have to be food grade. And to make them food grade, you have to seal them once a year. Otherwise, if you're cutting raw meat and stuff like that, it can get down in the pores and create a real problem. So it's the kind of thing that you got to make sure that you do. So I began to research. I had talked to McCoy's Building Supply, and then I'd also looked at Walmart, because I don't know if it's still the same, but at one time Walmart paint was actually made by Sherwin-Williams. It was made by Sherwin-Williams. So, and it may still be, I don't know if it is or not. And then they have other paints. They have Valspar, and they may make their grade of paint. I don't know. I'll have to investigate that. But food grade paint, food safe paint. So the thing we've got to do is, but before that, we have to have a primer, and it takes a specialty primer for MDF. Now, not only does it need a specialty primer, it's just like pressure treated wood. If you have pressure treated wood and you're going to paint it like on a railing. I had a house in Powell one time that my painters painted, and they didn't use a good primer like Gripper or Kilts or one of those that's made to move. Because when you think about it, your primer is what bonds to your wood. And then your paint bonds to your primer. So if you don't use a good primer and the primer's not flexible and can't move with the wood, like in pressure treated, then the paint's going to peel. And that's what happens. So we had to go down there and sand all that off and pressure wash it, and then let it dry, and then we had to go back over top of it. With that time, we used Glidden's Gripper, which I don't know if they still make it, but Glidden's Gripper, which worked fantastic. And we redid that so that it bonded and stuck to it, and it worked real good. So we done that. So the first thing I've got to consider in redoing the countertop with the MDF board is I've got to make sure that I'm using the appropriate panel. Excuse me. Sorry. Something popped up on the screen I can't multitask as well as I used to. When I was younger, I could multitask about 10 things at once. Now I can just do about one or two. But anyway, so I've got to have a primer that bonds to the MDF. But not only does it have to bond, it also has to be, I've got to make sure that it's mold and mildew resistant. And I got to make sure that the caulk that I use around the sink is mold and mildew resistant. Now, one of the things that's happened is that, let me see if I can get this. Hang on one second. I got to bend down. All right, sorry about that. One of the things that's happened is my sink is a farm style sink, and then it's an undermount sink. So the countertop comes over the sink and mounts, and then the sink comes out, mounts it. Well, what holds that in is a little brackets all the way around. It looks just like this. So the bracket screws in here, and then it holds the sink in this lip here and holds the sink up. Well, there's about 6 of these, 2 on each side. And this one, as you can tell, has rusted. And the screw that was in there, now it cost maybe another $1 to make this stainless steel. But of course, we're not going to do that, of course, because then we'd have to spend, when you're making 5,000 RVs, then you got to do that, which, it's galvanized. I'll give them that, but it's not stainless steel. So that being said, I bought stainless steel screws, and I'm going to have to replace this bracket because it's just pot metal, and it's just not going to hold up. And so my sink has dropped about 1/8 of an inch. And so I'm going to correct that. I'm going to cut all that caulk out. And I'm going to correct that problem as I fix it. Now I've got to peel the laminate up off of that MDF. And I'll see if I can't get a piece of that here in just a minute when we go there next time out, which is going to be a little bit, and show you what I'm talking about. But once you get the primer down, it's got to have, MDF has to have at least 2 coats of primer, at least 2. I feel like Richard Nixon. 2 coats of primer. And then on top of that, we're going to put our food grade paint that we're going to have for that surface. And we're going to put that on there so that we can prep and so forth and so on. Now, what's interesting is I didn't realize this. I searched food grade paint because I've never dealt with food grade paint. I've dealt with magnetic paint and chalkboard paint and all kinds of things, but I've never dealt with food grade paint. And so it brought this up, which I thought was very interesting. AI has its uses, but it also does not have its uses. Food safe paints for wood, which MDF is a form of wood. It's not a natural form of wood, but it's wood fibers. It's not particle board. It's a thinner composition of that, but it's compressed to a medium density. Food safe paints for wood include natural milk paint. Never heard of this. Sealed with oil. Never heard of that. I mean, I've heard sealing with oil, obviously, but milk paint. Specialized AFM Safe Coat, which is low VOC, which that's the odor that it gives off. Thacolith food grade coatings. These are ideal for surfaces like cutting boards, bowls, and countertops. For maximum safety, ensure any paint is non-toxic and seal it with food grade materials like tung oil, beeswax, or mineral oil. Milk paint, often considered the safest non-toxic choice. It must be sealed with a food safe oil or wax to be durable. See, I'm learning here. This is, and I'm learning because it's something that we've got to deal with. It's something that's got to happen. Thacolith, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. It's Fakolith, food grade paints. These are professional grade and antimicrobial, suitable for direct food contact. That's something we're going to look into. I need to look into that. AFM Safe Coat, ECOS paint, low VOC, and zero VOC acrylic paints that are safe once fully cured. So not quite as safe there, but something that you can think about. And then there's natural linseed oil paint, a natural non-toxic choice for your surfaces. Essential food safe sealers. To make paint durable and food safe, apply these over the paint and directly onto the raw wood. Pure tung oil cures to a hard, water resistant finish. Beeswax and mineral oil mix, a common combination for cutting boards. So I had no idea about this. I never even thought about it. Shellac, which we've all used a lot of shellac over the years, a natural food safe resin with non-toxic solvent when not with, but when non-toxic solvent is used. Best practices. Curing is essential. Boy, that's true. Now, this is a spot where we got to pay attention to the curing. We got to pay attention to that. This is very, very important. It says also that you have to avoid conventional paints and polyurethane, which can contain heavy metals or toxins, even if labeled low VOC. Usage. For high wear surfaces, use hardy acrylic coatings or epoxy, while raw or lightly finished wood is best for cutting boards. So there's a whole guide on here to all these different companies. Tractor Supply carries, and I'm finding something else too that I was going to tell you about. We have a Tractor Supply here. That's one of the things we have. We have McCoy's Building Supply, which is awesome. They have everything. I think the World McCoy's 5th generation family-owned business in 5 states, locations. Fantastic. Got a popcorn machine up front. You hear me talk about it all the time. They have everything. They're a true lumber yard in the sense of how lumber yards are. And then, of course, we have True Value Hardware here, which does a great job. And they have everything that you want, anything you want, and everything you want. Now, sometimes it may not be, the pricing may not be as good, and sometimes it's better. It's just like anything. You got to price it, you got to shop it, you got to do your thing to find out what it is. Excuse me. And then we have Tractor Supply. And Morrison's True Value Hardware also has a garden center, and so does Tractor Supply, and so does McCoy's. So, it's interesting too. I see this down here, and I've never seen this before, and I guess maybe we have it back home in East Tennessee for those of y'all listening to me back there, but I've never noticed this before. They actually have, and I just thought it was odd, and maybe y'all can tell me, maybe they have it at home. I don't know, but they have these big bags, like when concrete or sand or whatever in the backs, like Sackcrete or Quickcrete or play sand or whatever, when those bags get damaged, one of the things they do is they put them in a big bag and they'll sell them to you discounted, because they've lost some of it and so forth. So it's always a good way to buy it. The second thing is here, they sell gravel that way. They have these big things of gravel in these big plastic burlap looking sacks, and they'll take a forklift and load that on the truck, and then you can take it and dump it out. And it's a big quantity. It's like $150, I think, for one of them, which I thought was kind of neat, because you can't, if you don't need a whole truckload, I thought about getting some from where we are to add a little bit of gravel as I'm getting ready to get. I found me a helper down here who's good at listening, and I'm good at directing, and he's young and he got mobility, something that I do not have. So going to work with that. But anyway, Tractor Supply has a really good home improvement section. Here's a whitewash, here's a wiping stain. So I'm in the, I thought I had made my decision, because they make a countertop stain. And when I get up at the next time out, I'll get a little piece of this so y'all can see it. But it looks like marble. The laminate looks like marble. And they actually make a countertop coating with a primer, and that you can make that look like that. And I'm going to try it. That's what I'd settled on. And it's food grade. Now that's made to bond to existing countertops. I'm not sure about MDF, so I'll have to call the manufacturer and talk to him about that. And that's what Rick's House does. You know, as we face these things that we're dealing with and all these different changes, and we're going to search out the best sponsors. We're going to search out the people that I'm going to talk about. And if they're not good, I'm not going to talk about them. You know what I mean? Now I can stop anybody from advertising on this show. And I'm quite frankly, one of the reasons I'm podcasting is so that I have full control of that. And I do. When I was in the radio business, I worked for some fantastic radio folks. The last two stations are fantastic. I mean, they're just good people and good folks, and they do it by the book, and I appreciate that so much. But by podcasting, I have the ability to talk about what I want to talk about, do what I want to do, and I can search out and tell y'all, if you hear me talking about them, I promise you, they're good folks. Now, does that mean y'all may not like each other, may not be able to get along, may not be able to? I mean, I can't, you know, that happens. So, but you know, if we're talking about Dean Keys at GFL or Permachink or you know, or Top Septic or Knox Rail Salvage or the Grizz Market and Deli up there in Rutledge, Tennessee, and Granger County, or anybody else you hear me talk about on this program, if you hear me talking about them and saying these are good folks, then I mean that. And I don't take that lightly. I don't take that responsibility lightly. So, you know, that's why I'm digging in. When I dig into these projects, this is something that if you decide that you're going to live in an RV and you're going to go to an RV and you're going to do whatever, you're going to face this battle sooner or later with having to redo your countertops. And my point is why take the MDF off? And this is what Amy and I, we agreed to. Why take that off and deal with it when it's a good product? We just got to get the finish the way that we want it. You know, that's the thing. We just got to get the finish the way that we want it. So that's something we're going to do. And one of the things I'm finding is there's a lot of difference in cost with like these wood stains and whitewashes and so forth. I mean, I'm talking about the difference between $15, $18. Wait just a minute. Is that a quart? That's a quart. By the way, I can't believe what paint costs. I mean, a gallon of good paint is $40, $50, $60. But that's how it goes. So, you know, it's just, I got to get out of the 80s and the 90s, Rick. Leanne Morgan said, it's the time of our life tour coming to Knoxville. I had the pleasure of meeting Leanne, and actually when she first was hitting it big, we brought her to Panama City, her and Karen Mills, and man, they put on a great show at the theater down there, which is now being redone. And what a great time, and what a great gal. Both those gals really super nice and was very nice to us. Yeah. So good folks. Good to see her doing fantastic. Way to go, girl. Good for her. So, but like I said, when we look at these things, you know, I'm stuck as Leanne says, you know, 80s and the 90s, because that's, you know, that was our, you know, I told Amy this morning, I said, the time of our life tour. God, that sounds like a prom theme. So that's good stuff. So I'll keep y'all tuned up on what happens with this food grade countertop situation, because we cook. I mean, we're getting to a point now, and that brings me back to the thing. I'm going to give you a couple secrets that I've learned, and I'm going to tell you about a couple programs that I watch on YouTube, and some folks that are absolutely fantastic, that are getting it done and know how to do it. And I'm learning so much by watching their channels. And I want to share that information with you. That we'll share that here in the next time out. because Ricky's going to have a timeout, a potty break, and I'm going to get a piece of that to show you about the countertop so we can do that. Now, so we'll get to that. Food grade stuff, important. Making sure you're using the right product. And that's what makes your home improvement project go good, or your RV project, or whatever you're doing. If you, and I say this all the time, my mom, God love her and rest her soul, she utilized what she had and what was available to her, because she was going to wait on my dad to do it, and he wasn't going to do jack but come home and after he'd worked hard. Now, he worked hard every day. I ain't saying nothing about that, but he come home and he was going to get in his chair and read his paper and do his thing. And he wasn't about no home improvement around the house. I got it. I don't know where I got it, but I got it somewhere else. So anyway, so my mom would take a butter knife and make a flathead screwdriver. I mean, you know, she had to get inventive. Well, the thing about it is, if you use the right tool, it makes your project go a lot easier. And so that's an important part of what you do. And that's something that we preach about all the time on the program is, you know, and it's what I'm learning is that transfers to a lot of things. You know, I've always loved Mexican food. I mean, I like it. I've always liked it. Amy likes it. We like it. And now that we're in Texas, Southwest Texas, in the Big Bend region here, we went to Marfa, Marfa, and I've got some videos. I'm going to try to figure out. I can put the videos on the channel, and I've got to work on that. I'm going to try to figure that out, but I'm also going to put them on Facebook. I need to share those, but I've got to figure out how to edit them. So I'm just got to it's just been a crazy busy, but I did take them. And, so we've got videos of going over to Angels, Mexican restaurant in Marfa, Texas, which is phenomenally good. And you'll see on the videos when I share them that, it's so funny because they make this cheeseburger that's just ridiculous. I mean, it's just big. I mean, it just looks ridiculous. Of course, it fed me about 5 times because I can only eat 6 to 8 ounces. I mean, that's all I can do. And so, you know, they make his cheeseburgers just ridiculous, but it's homemade Mexican food. And the grandma was there when we went over on Thursday, went over on Thursday, and grandma was there, and she was picking it up and putting it down. And oh my good gracious, you talking about delicious. I mean, absolutely delicious. But I had enchiladas. And I've never liked enchiladas until I ate them here, because it's something that they do, and they may do it at Senor Taco back home. I don't know, but I just never ate them because the times I ate them, I didn't like them because the corn taste was too strong for my personal taste. So, but this lends itself to, it's all about the process. There are little things that you can do, whether you're working on your RV, or whether you're working on your house, or whether you're cooking in your kitchen. There are little things that you can do that make a huge, huge difference in the end result. Now, one of the guys that I've been watching is called Arnie, Arnie Tex, Tex, Arnie Tex. And he's a world champion barbecue guy, lives in Southwest Texas. He lives over toward the coast. And he has his mom on there, and man, his mama they can put it down. It's so funny though, because I was watching them on the enchiladas because I wanted to try to make enchiladas, because Amy had never eaten enchilada sauce, because most enchilada sauce has wheat in it. And so I use flour to thicken it, but not all. And so they had recipes on how to do that. But what I found in the grocery store was Hatch organic mild red enchilada sauce. And this is delicious, absolutely delicious. And it is organic, it is vegan, and gluten-free. And it's certified USDA organic and certified gluten-free. Now, to be certified gluten-free is a big deal, because that means they have to spend the money to do the testing. And that makes a huge difference. So we're going to take a time out. I'm going to try to run to the restroom, very quickly, I'm not here where Amy can run the board for me while I'm gone. So if I'm not back and you hear silence, don't worry. I'm coming fast as I can. Just stick with me. Thank y'all. Hang on. We got plenty more to talk about. We're not in a hurry today. We're going to catch up. We're going to visit. I'm going to share some more home improvement with you. Hang on, youngins. It's Rick's house.
You know, I grew up in a house as an electrician's son, and I figured out right fast that I didn't want to do electricity for a living. Why? Because it takes a professional. Let me tell you about the professionals at Keefe and Sons Electric. Great friends of the Rick's House program. They are the electrical contractor that we like to recommend, who's with over 15 years of experience. They've built their company servicing the residential community and doing the commercial stuff, solar systems, new construction, remodeling, bucket truck service, pools, spas, jacuzzis, wiring, electrical generator installations, panel upgrades, gas station wiring, and more. Whether it's troubleshooting or repair, we want you to call the team at Keefe and Sons Electric, 763-6599. That's 850-763-6599, or find them online at rickshousерadioshow.com. Go to game. Keefe and Sons Electric. We make the impossible doable. Keefe and Sons Electric, getting the job done from bucket trucks to small residential. Professional electric services done the way they should be. Keefe and Sons Electric Company, a Rick's House favorite.
Located in the heart of East Tennessee, where they do full service plumbing and repairs, All Clear Plumbing. Wheeler and Daniel, they know how to get the things right in your house. From a broken water pipe to an emergency repair to a water line installed, or maybe something that you never thought a plumber could do. Who do you call? You call All Clear Plumbing. Talk to Wills, All Clear Plumbing, your choice for plumbing. 865-443-7752.
Got a question? Rick's got the answers for all your home improvement questions. It's Rick's House. Home improvement advice done right.
Tune in to Rick's House every Saturday from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30. Don't let do-it-yourself become do-it-to-yourself.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777. 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mentioned that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that,
That's
brother?
a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you. They want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. And let me tell you about my friends at Knoxville Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Piper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxvilleSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Hey, y'all, this is Kix Brooks, and you are listening to Rick's House, everything you need to know about home improvement. And here comes Rick.
Oh, well, it's Rick's House. If you got a question, he'll help you figure it out. 'Cause it's Rick's House.
Oh, good Saturday morning to you. Hey, y'all. Brother Harold, Brother Ron, Brother Jim, Sister Missy in the house this morning. Plus you. Thanks for joining us on the program. Appreciate y'all listening to Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Rick's House Radio Show on the road, coming to you live from Southwest Texas. Sorry, y'all. Daddy had to let some coffee go away. But I did stop. And one of the things we've been talking about this morning is we've been talking about the laminate. And I thought I could peel a bigger piece off, but I couldn't. So this is, see how it looks like? It looks like marble. See the little gray in there? But this is the thickness of that stuff, y'all. This is a better representation because that's got some MDF on it. Y'all see that? You talking about paper thin. Now, it's pretty tough. I'll give it that. I mean, it's pretty tough, but it's not meant for long-term durability. So I'm going to try to replicate that. And they make a primer and they make a coat kit that you can do kind of like one of those bathtub deals that's food surface ready. And, so that we can do that. And so we're going to try it. So anyway, that's one of the things we're going to do, and hopefully it'll work out good. But there again, you got to be careful that in your house too, because you don't know exactly. I mean, there's so many things to think about when you're dealing with food areas and that kind of stuff. And so, like I said, I've got to do a little bit more research, but I'm learning things that are new to me, which is awesome. And I'm glad to do. And when I get those things, I'm going to pass them along to y'all. And when I learn about it or learn about somebody new, or, like Brother Evan over at Permachink, what a great job he does. Brother Dean over at GFL, Green for Life, man, if you need a dumpster or roll off, you got a business, he'll bend over backwards to help you. I'm telling you. Evan, one of the most knowledgeable guys about stain wood care products. If you got something on your historic house or on your regular house or around the windowsill that's it's rotting out and you got to build that specific trim back, man, he can tell you about that stuff. They've got it in those locations in Knoxville and Sevierville. But also your GFLs in 30 something states, and I don't know how many states Permachink in. So if you guys are listening to me, they can ship you a product, and they may very well have a location. I went to Alabama, and on our way down here, we stopped to visit with my friend John and his bride, and pulled up, and there's a GFL trash can right there in front of it, Green for Life. So, these folks are there and they're available and they're ready to help you, and we're going to share that with you and share our experiences. Now, like I said, we went over to Marfa, Marfa.
And on the way over there, we stopped, and I promise y'all I will get those videos up today. They may not be edited fantastically, and they may look kind of funny. I may stumble in them or whatever, but I want to get them up because I want y'all to travel as we're able to travel. We can't travel exactly like we used to, but just because you got a disability don't mean you can't do what you can do. And so I want to encourage you to do that. I want to encourage you to live a life. And you know, I thank God every day for the blessings that he gives us. And so I want y'all to know about that too. So anyway, on the way over there, Marfa is a big art place, and you've heard me talk about it. They've got a Prada store out in the middle of the desert. And I guess I was like, what in the world is a Prada store doing? And it's this little, I don't know, it looks like about 16 by 20 with a glass front, and it looks just like, and it says Prada on it. It's got all the products in there. It's got shoes and purses and all kinds of stuff. But the thing about it is it's just a display. You can't go in it. You can't buy nothing. You can't do nothing. And evidently they got some kind of grant to put that thing out there in the middle of nowhere. And it's there. So I didn't get a picture of that this time, but I did get a picture of this park that's out there where they have a bunch of old Airstreams and all the kinds of different old travel trailers. It's kind of interesting, and just a bunch of art stuff out there that, you know, I don't know. I'm artistic in some ways, but some stuff I just look at and go, okay, well, I could have done that. What'd they pay you for it? But it's a bunch of shipping containers all stacked up. You know, you've heard of the Cadillac Ranch where they've got in Texas, where they've got the Cadillacs halfway buried. Well, this is a bunch of shipping containers, and I got that. But when we turned in there's a snake right in the middle of the driveway. And so I pulled in, and I said, I just happened to look down. I said, well, hey, little buddy. And Amy's like, what? And I said, look right there. And I rolled the window. She's like, oh, Lord. And I haven't identified it yet. I'm going to have to talk to one of the wildlife guys down here to make sure, because I took a video of it, but I'll put it up, and maybe y'all can help me with that. Those of you people that know about snakes, but I think it's a coach whip. It's what I think it is. I stayed far enough away, but it was just sitting there in the driveway and sunning. Well, we left and drove on into town, and when we toured the town of Marfa, I'm going to put that on there so you guys can see it. And I'm also going to put it on my YouTube channels. I've got to start promoting my YouTube channels because I think I can download bigger stuff there. So if you've not been to our YouTube channels, go to, I've got RHRS on the road on our YouTube. I'm going to try to figure out how to send alerts. I've just got to get busy about that. I've got to do a better job with it. I've got to learn some of this technology that I don't know. But anyway, but we went and ate, and then went to the dollar store, and Amy got that curtain that I told you all about this morning. That's a privacy curtain to go over our door, which looks like this on one side and looks like that on the other side. And these are good for your house, y'all. This will help you make heat tries to go up and out. Tries to go up through your ceiling and out. Heat tries to come in through your attic and down into your house. So anytime the second place that it goes is doors and windows. So anytime that you can put something like this and close it over a door and window, you're adding savings it will pay for itself. You're adding savings to your home. So, but we left and we were there, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours, and coming back, and that snake was still sitting in the exact same place. I don't know if it'd been hit, because when I pulled up to it, I didn't see nothing wrong with it, but I don't know. I guess we go by there, but it was alive because its eyes, but it didn't move. It just sat there. So I don't know. I don't know enough about snakes. I'm learning about snakes because I had a terrible fear of them when I was a kid, and I still don't like them. But if I have a fear of something, I'm going to learn about it until I don't have a fear about it anymore. That's just the way I'm going to do it. And so I did that. And I did it for that one specific purpose, is so I would know more about them. So there's a snake thing on Facebook, and you can put a picture of it up there, and they'll tell you they'll tell you what it is. So maybe I'll find out what it is, and I can share that with you, because I want to know what's in my environment, and I want to know what's in my environment that hurts me, because I don't want to, I want to be aware of it. And I'm not, I've seen a thing where a lady had picked up a cottonmouth thinking it was a banded water snake, and it wasn't. So, that can be a bad day. So don't fool with something you don't know about. And I promise you don't want to do that. That's not good. So anyway, now back to our enchiladas. Makes a good spit cup too. On the back of this is a recipe, shredded beef enchiladas. And you can find out more recipes about Mexican cooking by going to Hatch, HATCHILECO.com, hatchchilicompany.com. You see it right there on the excuse me. Apologize. Didn't have time to hit the silent button. Let me get it to you. There it is. HatchChiliCO.com. This is organic, vegan, and gluten-free, and it is absolutely delicious. So we've been doing Rachel's step-by-step, which is, she's in South Texas, and she's a grandma who makes some of the most fabulous looking Mexican dishes, and she's got some grandkids, and they like to go to Mama's house and eat. And her husband, he does the grilling, she does the cooking. And then they have, and then we watch Arnie Tex, ARNIETEX, and that's him and his mom, and he's a world champion barbecue guy. And so let's look at this. Let's look at this recipe, and I want to tell you, because this is true, as I said earlier, with what you're doing in a home improvement project, what you're doing in an RV project, what you're doing in cooking, is following the steps and not missing the little things. It's the little things that make the job go well. It's the little things that makes the food taste good. It's the little things that make the end result what you want it to be. And you can't skip steps. You just can't do it. If you do it, you're not going to be satisfied. So this says your ingredients are 1 15-ounce organic Hatch red chili sauce can. That's this. 1 pound of roasted shredded beef. Now that can be beef, pork, beef, pork, chicken, barbecued pork. I mean, they made barbecue pork look good. And they even put cream cheese in there if you like that. 8 corn tortillas, 1 white onion diced. That's important. The Mexican folks put onions in everything, and it's delicious. 2 cups of shredded cheese and 1/4 cup of scallions. So not only do you have a white onion, but you also have scallions. And I didn't realize what a scallion was. Matter of fact, I asked Amy, I said, what's a scallion? And she said, it's an onion that's not bulbed. It's not big. It's the little skinny green onions like we all eat coming out of the garden. So a scallion. So begin by placing shredded beef, onion, and 1 cup of cheese into a large mixing bowl. Mix ingredients until combined. Place tortilla on the flat surface. Spoon about 1/4 cup of mixture onto the lower third of the tortilla. Roll the tortilla and place seam side down in well-greased casserole dish and repeat. Now, and so your meat is already cooked, and you put it in the oven and you bake it put cheese on top of it, and then the rest of the sauce, and then you put it in there for 20-25 minutes. Now, and put your onions on top. That's not the way the Mexican folks that I love to watch and learn something from every day on the food, what they do. And I tried this, and it is the most important step of making enchiladas. It changes everything. We take olive oil of your choice, canola oil, whatever you got to use. And you put that in a skillet, and then you take your white corn tortillas. I like white corn. I don't like yellow corn. It's too strong in the taste for me, but I like white corn. And you get that oil just warm. You do not want to fry that tortilla and make it hard, because it's sort of pliable, but if you try to roll it when you get it first out of the package, it's going to tear on you. And so you don't want that. So what you do is you get it and you put it in that oil. Once the oil's going just a little bit, you put it in there about 10 seconds, flip it over about 10 seconds, pull it out, and put it on a drying rack or a paper towel. Sorry, y'all, my allergies are wearing me out. So that being said, and then you stack them up. Then you do away with your oil and pour a little chili sauce in your pan, or you can put it in a paper plate. That's what I did. And you take a pair of tongs and you put the tortilla in the chili sauce, enchilada sauce, and then flip it over and put it in there and move it around and get it good and covered. Then you put your shredded pork or beef or chicken on there. And then you put your onions on there, your diced onions, not your scallions, your diced onions, and your cheese, and roll it. And then you've already put a little of your enchilada sauce in your pan, and you stack them one beside another, leaving about a 1/4 inch gap between them, so that when you get them all stacked in there and you get your plate all the way full, then you can take your remainder of your enchilada sauce, pour it over top, more cheese on top, put your scallions on top, bam, in the oven. 375, about 20 minutes. Oh, good gracious. The difference in the taste of that corn tortilla, once it's had a little grease on it, oil, and then the chili sauce on it, that tortilla absorbs it, and the flavor is out of this world. Absolutely, positively out of this world. Now, Arnitex has his own line of seasonings. I'm getting ready to order some of them. Some of them, and he tells you what's in them, but it's already pre-prepared and ready to go. And I like that because he knows how much to put in each one to get that authentic Mexican taste. And so I think it's a great value, and they're like $12.99 for a big bottle. So I think it's a good value, and having it right, that's the thing. You know, usually it's nothing more than cumin, onion powder, garlic powder, and salt and pepper. Now I'm learning about peppers because you can get burned. He likes it hot, so you got to watch him. he likes it hot. Good morning, Miss Ruby. How are you this morning? Good morning. So good to see you in here. And so I'm learning from Arnitex just how to make those enchiladas, and they're absolutely fabulous. But you say, Rick, what in the world does that have to do with home improvement or anything along the lines of home improvement? Just like I said earlier, it's about the process. It's about the steps. That's why I say on Rick's House, don't let do it yourself become do it to yourself. And the reason that works is because you want to do that project on paper. Now we're getting ready to build us a small porch out here, just a deck, so that we can get in and out with a ramp, because the steps are very difficult for me, even though as much weight as I've lost, it's difficult, and it's difficult on Amy's knees too. We're getting to that age. And so we want to build a ramp where we can come in and out. And, you know, sometimes I have to use my walker. I always have to use a cane, and I have to use my rollator and those kinds of things. So I want to be able to get in and out with groceries and all that kind of stuff, because I can put it on my horse, as I call it, and then roll it in. So Amy and I measured out what she wants. And so I will build that on paper, and I will build that in line of the materials that I need. I can't go in the ground, so I need either cap blocks or post blocks for my 4x4s. So I'll start with those. Then I'll go to my 4x4s. Then I'll go to my band on the outside. So if I use 2x6s, I'll need a 2x8 band, because I need a 2x6 to come in, and I need enough room to put a ledger underneath it, unless I'm going to use Simpson strong ties. And Simpson strong ties are great, but I just soon use a ledger because it's easier for me to do. And then I put my decking down, and then my handrail. So when that's loaded on my truck, and I call Dan or Matthew over at McCoy's and go, hey, here's my list. I will tell them that list in reverse So the last thing that I use, which will be handrail, will go on the top. I mean, on the bottom of the truck. And then I go in reverse order. That way, when I get it here, the first thing that I'll have my helper, who's got the strength, pull off will be the blocks, and then the 4x4s, and then the band, and then the joists, then the flooring, then the handrail. You see. That way, I don't have to go through it and dig all the way to the bottom. It's already banded and ready to go. And the reason pressure treated lumber is banded, if you see it, if it's covered, it won't be. If it's in the climate controlled building, it won't be. But if it's out in the sun, it will be banded, because that pressure treated lumber has density and sparseness in the wood. You know, when you cut a log, there's parts of it that are dense and parts of it that are sparse. And so when they put it in the vacuum and pull that chemical in there, some of it gets more chemical than other parts of it get to make it pressure treated. Well, when the sun is still wet, even though it's dried, it still has moisture content in it. So when the sun hits it, the moisture inside that lumber evaporates at different rates. And that's what causes it to bow and cup and rock and look like rocking chair legs. So it's really, really important that it stays banded and that you keep it banded or keep it covered so that it doesn't warp up on you. That's why if you get, and also the cross cut of the grain, we're going to do a show on that. We're going to talk about, don't just grab the first piece of lumber that you see. I'm going to show you how to look at the ends of the lumber and which ones are more likely to cup, bow, twist, and bend based on where it's cut in the log itself. And that's a whole show, whole part of a show anyway to do, so that you can avoid some of that to begin with. Let me tell you something. There's a few things in the home improvement industry that are facts. One is concrete cracks, period. It cracks. It's always going to crack. You can't stop it from cracking. It's going to crack. That's part of it. It's part of the process. Number two is pressure treated lumber. There are going to be pieces that are going to bow, pull loose. I don't care if you put the strongest glue on the face of the earth on it, it's going to pull loose. It's just the nature of the beast. So we try to avoid that by good construction techniques, but we also have to be aware that we're going to have some of that. And once it starts doing that, you cannot stop it. You can't. It's going to pull loose. And we'll talk about that. In my file cabinet, in my office here, I have a countertop that I salvaged from a friend of mine, and I purchased it. And then what happened next is that I put that on top of some old school file cabinets. And those file cabinets, one of them, quite frankly, holds my clothes. Not my dress clothes and not my button-up shirts, but it holds my t-shirts like I have on today. And if you say, Rick, do you wear the same clothes every day? No, I just, if I find something on sale, I buy 5 or 6 of them. That's why you'll see me wearing navy blue shirts all the time. Okay, it holds my shorts. And I tease, I say both my winter and my summer shorts, because I wear shorts year round. But all large people do. So I've got that as well. So, but my other drawer has, let me reach down here. It has lots of things in it. You say, Rick, what's in there? Well, we've got all kinds of different tape. This is extra thick and extra adhesive. We have ice and water shield to seal up things that need to be sealed up on the waterproof flashing tape, which is ice and water shield. This is Reliabuilt. You get it at Lowe's. We have masking tape for taping stuff off when we're caulking or painting. I have about 4 different kinds of duct tape. This is plain old duct tape, DUCK duck brand duct, DUCT tape. We have it in black for when we're using it outside. This is Gorilla Tape, exterior duct tape. Now, if it's just plain duct tape, I don't write anything on the inside of it here. If it's extra thick, extra adhesive, I'll take a Sharpie and write in here X thick, X adhesive. So once because it don't give you any information, that way I know which tape I'm grabbing for, depending on the project I need. I may need a permanent tape, which I keep. And then I have packing tape, which I'm going to use today to send the grandkids. We went to the store and got them a bunch of surprises from the Hispanic companies that provide, chips and candy and all those kinds of things that they don't get to try in Florida. And we're going to send that package off today. Miss Amy has tasked me with that. So that's going to happen. And then I have glue. You say, gosh, Rick, what kind of glue do you use? Well, E6000. Fantastic glue. This is clear. It's a self-leveling formula. This stuff will stick. And I keep a small tube of clear silicone for those small things that, cover a nail head, cover a screw head, that kind of stuff. I keep a small one of those so I don't have to get the caulk gun out and do all that. And I have shoe glue. This stuff works great for a lot of things, but, shoe repair. Now, this is a Rick's House. This is a Rick's House tip for you. Hang on. When I was at the store the other day, the Dollar General store, this is the True Living freezer bags. These are 1 gallon. I like the Ziploc ones with the slide on them. And these are inexpensive and they're good quality, and I keep them. I keep them in the gallon size and I keep them in the half gallon size. You say, Rick, what do you do that for? Because when I open something up, whether that's Gorilla Glue, which has to be activated with water, great product. Then you'll see this has had a lot of use. In this bag, I have construction adhesive, extra 3M sticky pads for the little command strips that go on the side of the trailer, Gorilla Super Glue for those little quick things, Loctite power grab when it's got to grab it quick. Small tube of that. If I'm going to stick something like a piece of cork on the bottom of something that's out of level that sits on the counter. Loctite Super Glue, which is also a great product. And another tube of extra strength E6000, which is a great product. And all that stays in this Ziploc bag, so that kind of stays out of the air, and it fits in my drawer good. And that way, if I need something like backer board screws, square head aluminum screws with the bit in there, because everything in an RV is a square head. These are white to cover where all the white things are, like in the bathroom. This is my box of stainless steel screws for when I need to remount that bracket I showed y'all earlier for underneath the sink. I'll use stainless steel screws. And the reason that, and there's a bunch of other stuff in here that I'll show you. I'll show you later, maybe in the next episode. But the reason I keep this stuff in here is so I have quick access to it. And it's organized so I don't have to dig through the drawer. Here's self-tappers, washers, and some little tabs that I found out the end of a curtain rod that I thought might be useful later down the line for who knows what. Matter of fact, I've got an unstable thing right now that I need to put it on. So, and by having extra, I'm glad I found that. By having extra slider freezer bags, when I get ready to do a project, so I don't have to make 15 trips back and forth, what I do is I load me up a bag with what I need in it from my materials, you know, my glue, my nails, my screws, that kind of stuff. And then I'll take another bag and I'll put, if I need screwdrivers or bits for the drill or drill bits or whatever, and put all that in one bag. That way, when I go over where I've got me something to sit on to work on that project inside the house, I've got everything with me. As my papa said, it's not working harder, it's working smarter. So I try to do that. Not always the best at it, but I try to do it the very best I can to make sure that the project goes as well as it can. Then I also keep small things in here like my voltage meter. It's a multimeter. If you don't have one of these, they're fantastic. You can test batteries. Tells you right on the back. This is Harbor Freight. I don't know, $10. But it will test outlets. It will test DC current. It will test AC current. I can check my batteries. I can do all those kinds of things. Makes a huge difference when you're working on your home improvement projects. So I keep that in there as well, so it's easy access. And as you can see, I got it right here. Everything I need to make that project happen. And the secret to not letting do-it-yourself become do-it-to-yourself is having what you need, having the project that you need, and utilizing that to make the project go easier. You know, if you need a flathead screwdriver, get you a flathead screwdriver. Don't use a butter knife. You know, all it's going to do is frustrate you, and you may not be happy with the end result of how the project ends. So I would encourage you to do that, and you'll be glad that you did. I want to thank y'all for joining me each and every Saturday morning as we do Rick's House. Paul, good morning, Paul Seymour. Junior, good morning. Good to see you this morning. Good morning, Rick and Amy from East Tennessee or home. You got it, my brother. Glad to see y'all in the house this morning. Junior, good to see you in the house this morning. Thanks for being a part of what we do each and every Saturday. Now, my task for the day is to go to the grocery store. I've already called ahead to get a box, excuse me, and load it up with all that stuff for grandkids for Easter and get that sent on its way. And my bride made me promise that I would do that before it closes today because she wants to know that that stuff made it to her grandbabies, and that's an important part of what we do. You can always reach me during the week at rickshouseradio@gmail.com or on Facebook. You can DM me there on RHRS on the road. That's Rick's House Radio Show on the road, RHRS on the road, or rickshouseradio@gmail.com. And if there's something you want me to talk about, or as we're lining up guests, Evan's come back on from Permachink and GFL, and I talked to Liv Travel Trailers, LIV Travel Trailers. Let me get that information pulled up here right fast. Good to see y'all. Go to my email right quick. There we go. Yeah, I got an email. I've been looking for smaller travel trailers because one of the things is where we're at right now, we have to travel a distance to go to see heart doctor and specialists and so forth that I have to see. And so one of the things is if we travel, we're noticing if we travel a couple hours, or if we want to get out and travel a couple hours, there's so much to see. then we might want to stay the night. Well, staying the night in a hotel is very difficult. So what we're looking at is a smaller camper that we can pull behind Amy's car, so that we can go, if we go to the doctor's, office 2.5 hours away, we can drive up there. We can go in the day before, spend the night, go to the doctor's appointment, make our rounds, and come back home, so forth and so on. But also for the part of not trying to drag this trailer that's 40 foot, we've got it set at a place so that we can get out and show y'all some of these things that we're seeing. So stay tuned for more of that. I'll try to get this posted. And the YouTube channels, I haven't done anything to promote them. Don't have a bunch of followers on there. I need to get that built up. So search us on YouTube and you'll find us. The show's on there as well. And so we're going to try to get those videos up and running. Go Vols. Thank y'all for listening. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Knox Rail Salvage, Old City Kitchens, Top Septic, GFL Green for Life, dumpsters and roll-offs. Also, Permachink, Keith and Sons Electric, all the folks, All Clear Plumbing, all the folks that have stuck with us and stay with us. We appreciate you so much, and we appreciate their business. Talked yesterday to Liv, LIV. It's LIV RV Travel Trailers in Americus, Georgia, not far from where Jimmy Carter was raised. And this is something I've been looking into. Here's what makes Liv Trailers unique. Lightweight and easy to tow, designed for SUVs and half-ton trucks. Durable build, 100% thermoplastic composite construction, no wood to rot, comfortable and modern, smart layouts that maximize space. So I'll tell you more about them as I find along. Of course, we're always fans of Forest River products. Forest River scored number 2 in the country on quality for travel trailers. So if you've been to Weekends RV Center like my buddy Paul and got one, you got a good one. God bless you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to go snack on some of those enchiladas I made yesterday. Hope to see you during the week. We'll be back here next Saturday. If we don't try to do something in between, we'll see. I'm trying to video the stuff that we're getting done so we can share it with you. God bless you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for being part of what we do each and every Saturday. Grab them babies and hug them. Love them. Tell somebody you love them. Thank someone who serves their country or serves in any capacity. God bless you. We'll see you next time on Rick's House.